Hello, everyone. It's Susan Holzapfel from Wellness with Susan. I'm so happy you've joined us for the Ultimate Health Summit for Women. So Soul Connector Michelle Alva, integrative physical therapist, yoga therapist, body, mind, belly dance teacher, and sound therapist, is a woman on a mission to uplift our world and remind us of our essential nature that we are loved. She does this by integrating her over 20-year background as a physical therapist, sharing an approach that unites modern movement science with ancient wisdom and includes yoga therapy, belly dance, massage, emotional release bodywork, Psych K, therapeutic touch, and sound therapy. Michelle creates a sacred space where clients learn how to easily and effectively release and process old, repressed physical and emotional traumas and tensions. She's developed an intuitively guided process called the Alva method of healing and confidently creating. That leaves us feeling lighter, connected, fully alive, and aligned to your true, authentic essence. Michelle has created a life fulfillment enhancement program for women to embrace and embody their wholeness called Sexy, Sacred, Sensual You 30-Day Online Course. She's also created a program to educate individuals on how to release the weight of our emotional stress called Jumpstart Emotional Weight Loss. So I'm really thrilled to have Michelle Alva with us today. And welcome, Michelle. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Susan, and I'm so excited. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this amazing summit, the Ultimate Health Summit for Women. I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and just want to thank you in advance for making all of us come together in this powerful way to benefit so many people's lives.
Oh, you're so welcome, and I'm just so glad you're here. And you're right, this is a great way for women to be impacted and find things that they can take away and start to work on in their own lives. So, Michelle, a lot of our talks in this interview series are focused around the basics of self-care, the nutrition, the exercise, stress relief, sleep, balancing hormones. But you bring to the table some other modalities of healing, including, I mentioned earlier, the Psych K belief change, emotional release bodywork, and guided meditation. And actually, you also are a physical therapist. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you moved into these areas of healing.
Sure. Well, I graduated when I was 22 years old, and I was already practicing yoga since I was about, 17 or 18 years old. And I was vegetarian since I was 15 years old because I used to work at the Unicorn Village in Aventura as a hostess. So this really healthy restaurant. So I was exposed to yoga and vegetarian and eating healthy in the early time of my life. And I feel that doing yoga made me connect to my soul. It made me feel really great by myself with this expanded feeling from the inside out. And yoga, I think, really awakened me to know that I'm not just this physical body, that I was learning everything about the physical body in physical therapy school, but we didn't touch about the soul, and we weren't talking about breathing really as much as in yoga. And so I always had this insatiable desire to know more about the soul and the spirit part of us and the mind-body connection, because yoga is mind, body, soul. And then there was just a lot of new things going on with mind-body medicine back then. Andrew Weil and John Kabat-Zinn, mindfulness meditation, and Herbert Benson, and all these people that I was learning more and more, reading about mindfulness and meditation and the science of healing and the benefits scientifically of meditation. And I was really curious, of course, as my background in physical therapy is all about research, evidence-based medicine. So I think that set the tone for me to really ask questions and question everything. And even when I took my yoga teacher training, there was a lot of things actually that weren't safe because they're not science people, generally, yogis. So I really was wanting to put more integrity into yoga and more integrity and safety into mind-body practices, things that I was learning in my body. I felt we weren't really adequately being trained in yoga because, like I said, I did a yoga teacher training, and there's a lot of yoga teachers out there, and I just felt like, wow, combining physical therapy, the science of movement, the science of understanding deeply the human body with the philosophies of yoga and our breath, and then embracing our beliefs, the psyche. It just seems like, to me, we're such an intricate being, the human being. We're thinking right now, we're digesting our food right now as we speak. We're releasing an egg, There's all these hormones that are working together simultaneously as we're listening to this interview. And the way that we generally work with the body is very compartmentalized. The psychologist works with the mind, the physical therapist with the body, a soul counselor, spiritual person, generally, we go to someone. So the work that I do is really about integrating the mind, the body, and the soul through the breath in the moment, in the present moment. So we're working on releasing whatever trapped emotions we're holding in the physical body, which, like, for example, if I resent my thighs or I resent my belly, I don't like my body, I'm going to be resentful. That emotion is going to be over my whole personality, and that weighs me down, and it actually affects my digestion. It makes me more stressed out. It affects how I feel. It affects how I look. And so this journey of understanding from all these different healing modalities that I've been exposed to in my life and in my professional working with clients has led me to realize, wow, who's working on the emotional body in the physical body, and who is addressing our beliefs and how they're impacting our, for example, our digestion or our fertility or our heart. If I'm resentful and I hate my ex-husband or my mother-in-law, or I despise somebody, it's going to make my heart muscle tense. And that's an underlying belief that we have. Or, for example, beliefs about aging. If I'm scared that I'm going to get weaker or not as healthy as I age, that's going to weigh me down in my physical body. So I'm really grateful because I'm like the Energizer Bunny, and I love to be effective. And I was definitely a drama queen most of my life. So I literally have healed from attracting all this drama in my life and wanting to create a simpler, easier, more pleasurable, passionate, soulful, meaningful, inspirational life. And I'm grateful for my past because it's made me, it gave me a lot of fuel to grow and to learn and to ask questions. So the way that I work now is I call it the Alva method of healing, where we're having major healing with minimal effort. We're using science and ancient wisdom and basically only taking the things that really work and make a large impact, because I know people don't have a lot of time in their life to spend extra separating from their life. So the way that this works is we're actually integrating into our lives ways to release stress, ways to release pain, ways to process our emotions, and ways to keep our immune system elevated, naturally tapping into oxytocin and endorphins throughout the day, and just things that already science has told us that we already know, but packaging it simultaneously in the moment so that we're getting 5 treatment approaches in one exercise. And that's where the efficiency of the work is awesome. And then it's quick and it's easy and it's practical. And that's just how I like to work. I like to make major changes for people and for myself with minimum effort and ease and fun. And I'm sure everybody would agree, but I don't think we realize that we can actually put that as the intention, and then that's what we get. So I think that's part of the reason why I'm here, in this lifetime, is to kind of say, hey, did you know that there's an easier, more practical way to do things where you don't have to be doing it for 2 hours? You can actually weave it into your day. That's the concept.
Oh, that's great. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about emotional release bodywork. I think that's something a lot of people have not heard of before.
We have something called emotional pain. When I get my heart broken, or someone passes away in my life, there's a death, or I've been in an accident, literally we don't just have physical pain, but it hurts our heart. Our heart aches when we lose somebody that we love, or a relationship changes, the status of a relationship, and how we cope with that trauma, that stressful event, is going to either heal us or it's going to make us feel weighed down and stressed out. And emotional release bodywork is using science, the science of releasing, the science of healing, to access the release of emotional weight and stress in the physical body. So what we're doing is we're actually stimulating the healing hormone, the releasing hormone, and the emotional processing hormone. And that hormone is called oxytocin. It's the love hormone, and that one stimulates endorphin release. So people release pain very easily, and they also heal very quickly because we're actually tapping into what works to stimulate this hormone. And I feel like that's brilliant. Why don't we all know that? Wouldn't it make sense that if we know that we have a healing hormone and we're healing something, we're going through a trauma or a hurt or some type of pain, wouldn't that be so beneficial to know how to support our own healing physiology so that it elevates it instead of chronic stressing it out? So for me, it's like makes perfect sense. So that's what I say, that I'm educating people to become experts at activating their own healing physiology, which is within them. That's the most awesome thing, is that you're walking around with a spa and a healing center inside you. What I do is I'm just educating people and guiding them through the experience to turn on and activate those natural, innate resources that we already have within us.
Who would think to do this? I mean, this is for anybody experiencing any kind of pain, right?
Yeah, for example,
if
you have low back pain, chronic low back pain, and let's say you go to physical therapy and you go to your chiropractor, you go to your psychologist, maybe you also have depression and you might have anxiety because you don't want to be re-injured or injure again your low back or make it worse. So we not only have the physical pain, but we also are suffering about the opinion that we have about our pain. So, for example, somebody might really hate their back or resent their back because they have pain. And that creates even more of a painful response in the body. So what we do in emotional release bodywork is literally we're reprogramming the subconscious mind to release the weight of whatever that pain is. And the techniques that I've created, they work. That's the thing, because we're using science. So basically you become a catalyst to release pain. For example, if you have pain in your low back and it's after, let's just say you had back surgery, or maybe you had knee surgery, or you just have a bruise, and you have that bruise more than you break a bone, for example, and it takes a bone 6 weeks to heal. Mm-hmm. So let's just say that it's been a year and your knee still hurts or your low back still hurts, and you've done everything physically required to heal that. We know that that's the emotionally related pain. So if it's lingering pain that you're having and nothing you do makes it better, there's probably emotional pain that is causing the recurrence of that cycle of pain spasm. Does that make sense? Like the physical body takes time to heal. So if you're still feeling pain, for example, fibromyalgia, I work really well with people with fibromyalgia because a lot of them have emotional pain. So they see quick and easy results. It's really amazing. So it's a combination of massage that I do. I also do phone healing sessions where I'm guiding people to realign, activate their inner resources long distance. And so you don't have to be with me one-on-one in person in Miami. You can be on the phone with me, and these sessions work long distance also. It's really amazing. It's exciting. I get very excited because
it is.
How many of us, when we have a diagnosis of low back pain or neck pain, or let's just say we have arthritis or anxiety, or we have low energy, sleep problems, all of these, there's some components of emotional pain that we have that's causing us to have even more of those symptoms. And this is the part where how exciting to create a new possibility when you change your relationship with your pain. It's amazing what could be created from just simply changing how you feel about your headaches or about your sleep problems or about your cancer or about your irritable bowel syndrome. So simply healing the relationship with your belly, with your pain, causes an expanded healing effect. It's really powerful because the person is actually healing themselves. They're healing their own relationship with themselves, and they become their own best friend, their biggest cheerleader, their greatest lover, because that's what the hormone does. And I walk people through that process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very personal, and it's very intimate. It's something that people do in their own space. You know, it's not something really you can do in public. It's very intimate, the sessions, because you really have to feel safe and supported and let go of whatever guard we're holding. And believe it or not, a lot of us have a lot of guarding. It's hard for us sometimes to trust people, to feel like we can just be ourselves and be heard, and to even just hear ourselves and what's really going on in our body. And these sessions are beautiful opportunities for us to feel comfortable and connected with all the parts of who we are. And sometimes we don't trust parts of ourselves because they've been hurting us for so long. So we don't have that ease of just, I'm going to trust my gut, or I'm going to trust my low back. And I basically am there. I'm also a mom, and I know, and I'm very nurturing, and I love to love, and I feel that my own personality, just me, I care, I love what I do. And sometimes I feel a lot of us don't have enough support in our lives or in our relationships, or we're too busy working, and we don't really take the time to kind of just be supported by someone who loves us, or supported by ourselves, just like taking a nice hot bath, or just laying down and breathing, or just getting a massage, doing things that pamper us and nurture us. I think a lot of us are nurture deprived in our society. And these are really miraculous opportunities, because we're taking ourselves into a place where we're not used to being in, but the place that we go is full of nurturance and full of love and kindness and compassion and acceptance, and simply being in a space with someone that is giving you that feeling, the body just relaxes. It's amazing.
Well, another modality that you also work in is Psych-K, belief change. And that's not something I had heard of before. Maybe you can explain that as well to our listeners.
Sure. I'd like to mention Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's the author of The Biology of Belief, which is an awesome book, and he talks a lot about how he talks about something called epigenetics. Have you heard of epigenetics? Above the gene. How our thoughts alter how our genes are expressed, and our beliefs basically are a group of our thoughts, right? So you know how sometimes people say, "Oh my God, my mom has breast cancer. My mother-in-law, my sister has breast cancer. My mother has breast cancer. I'm probably going to get breast cancer." And then you believe that your whole life. They're saying now that our belief about it is actually what's predisposing us even more than our actual genetic code, and that we can alter our gene expression through our belief systems. So a couple of years back, as I was doing these healing sessions and working with people, I was praying to God, and I pray a lot, and I ask my higher self, our Creator, I have this direct connection, I feel, and I'm always praying that everything I do be for the highest good, and that we create miracles in the session for people. And then I was just kind of feeling frustrated, this sense of there's something missing. So I was starting to think about, just on my own, how my own beliefs about what's possible for healing limit the sessions. So, for example, if I believe that a person is not going to heal as quickly, if I have an opinion about that person based on maybe their personality or their attitude or how they look, I'm limiting what's possible for that person. And I'm also limited by my background. My own background, my own trainings are a form of limiting myself. So what I was starting to realize was how when I go into this very relaxed state in the sessions, in the healing sessions, I literally let go of everything I know, and I tune in to my higher self, and I ask God to guide me. And I ask God to use me to the highest good for people. And since I had that realization, and I know that might sound awkward for people, but when we open ourselves to trusting our intuition, to trusting our higher self, our superconscious, it's amazing what miracles happen. And if you think about the most powerful people, they all kind of surrendered to something else. And I think of Mother Teresa immediately, and I just recently saw her movie. I think it was called The Letters, something like that. But she kept saying, God, you put me to work here. I can't do this. I can't humanly create, these orphanages or these things that she's created. Like, there's no way she herself could have done it in her own belief. So she asked for help, for higher help, higher assistance. And I believe that when we, Psych K is really about aligning to that super consciousness. They're not explaining it like that. It's actually very scientific, the way that they explain it. It's a form of energy psychology because, Dr. Bruce Lipton and Rob Williams, the creator, they're not going to tell you this, but I did the 2 of the trainings. And basically what they're teaching us is to tune in to our intuition and to muscle test the subconscious mind. So it's a very simple testing approach. And then we're basically, from working with the person, we're creating a new belief that they're actually creating it themselves. So it's not something that I'm forcing on somebody or I'm saying, oh, you need to believe this. It's really about tuning into the person, and then the person has a realization of what they want to create. So it's about creating a new way of living your life. And a lot of times the questions we ask are, what would you like to create? How would you like to feel? So if somebody comes in with low back pain or somebody has an allergy, for example, because Psych K works really quickly with allergies. Let's just say you have a peanut allergy or you're allergic to dust. We would say, how would you like to feel? So that person might say, well, when I'm around these trees or this pollen, I would like to feel relaxed, and I'd like to feel like my nose is dry, it's not running. I would like to feel that my throat is calm and peaceful. So what we do is then we muscle test for the belief. Is the person, do they believe that they can be clear of this allergy? Do they believe that they can be calm and peaceful around pollen? And the person will probably have a no. They'll muscle test negatively. So then we basically are reprogramming the subconscious mind to accept that trigger that usually triggers themselves, so that they're no longer hypersensitive to pollen or to peanut butter or to low back pain or whatever it is. It could be, you can actually be allergic to people in your life. You might even notice that you get more irritable. Maybe you get a headache when you're around a certain person. So it's really interesting how the subconscious mind works. And for me, it's not enough to just simply guide a person to release emotions. I also feel to reinforce the learning that we did and the new way of experiencing themselves, it is important to address their belief systems. Because, for example, a person might not even believe that they can release their low back pain. They might not believe that they can overcome an allergy or they can overcome, let's say, depression. They might not believe that they could ever be happy, or they might not believe that they could have pleasure in their neck. So I have clients who say, oh, my God, my neck hurts, I have a neck ache, my neck hurts, and they constantly say that, I have a headache. So I say to them, are you ready to accept head pleasure, neck pleasure, low back pleasure? And then they look at me and they're like, what? But if you think about it, if you believe that you can accept and create back pleasure, body pleasure, shoulder pleasure, that's going to move you in the direction of feeling good in your shoulder and in your low back. Where some of us, all we know is pain in our low back or our shoulder or our neck or our jaw. So it's really incredible when the mind is on the same wavelength as the body towards healing. Wow, it's so amazing how, it just happens super fast.
And we've been talking a lot this week. We're talking a lot this week about the mind-body connection and various interviews that comes up all the time. So I think maybe women, if they didn't already realize the connection that's there, it's really starting to sink in.
Yeah, so, and the thing that I want to, like, I need to say this right now because it's coming out of me. We're designed in a culture where everything is driven by money. So drugs, surgeries, all these pills that people take, painkillers, someone's going to make money off that, okay? So if I teach you that you don't need to have an allergy anymore, you're not going to need your shots. You're not going to need your recurring Benadryl or whatever it is. So then what? So we have to remember the environment that we're living in is created. For example, we're not learning in school how to clear our own allergies or how to clear our own pain. It's not being prioritized in our education as children. But can you imagine if everybody could just clear their allergies as children or whatever? Whenever you do have an allergy, you can just do Psyche or you can do emotional release bodywork or the Alva method, and then it's just clear. Like, what would CVS be doing right now? Or Walgreens, So we have to remember that the general culture is needing us to have allergies and pains and surgeries. But that's the thing where I'm one person and I have a big mouth and a lot of hair and I'm like a big SOS, like I'm making it my mission to ignite this wisdom in people. And I'm only one person, so that's why I think I've created this Alva method that it's basically summarizing this, and I want to share it with as many people as possible because I'm really tired of, the way that, I have a daughter, she's 11, and I want her to feel empowered. I'm tired of people thinking, people have come to me that for 12 years they're depressed or for 6 years they've been in pain, and all they had was some emotional trauma that we clear in a session, and they cry and they say, oh, my God, I wish I would have met you sooner, 6 years ago. But the thing is, I always know that sometimes we have to suffer for a bunch of years to get motivated to change. And so I don't think anything's a mistake, but I sure am going to create as many solutions right now as I can. And this is one of the ways, is getting online, creating online programs, creating guided meditations. So I'm asking myself, how can I, one little person, spread the word in the internet? I'm so grateful to be on the summit. And I'm not going to complain. I don't want to complain about the system. All I want to do is focus on creating solutions so that this system that we've created, healthcare system, can actually empower the client, the individual, the patient first. And this is where I feel we need to make major changes instead of trying a new drug, doing a nurse surgery. Like some clients I've had 11 neck surgeries, okay?
Right.
What if that person learned on day one, did you know that you have this hormone, oxytocin, endorphins, that when you amp it, it causes you to heal even faster? Like that's what I wish for medicine to be first, educating people on tapping into their innate resources. And then also you can take this medication, this along the lines in the future. If it doesn't work, as well, this is your second option. So we start first from the inside out, tapping into our mind-body connection because it works.
Yep.
There's so much research on it. And this is what I would love for everybody to see, this vision with me, because the more we feel it's already happened, the more powerful. So yes, children knowing how to help themselves, empower themselves as children, because it's really so easy to do these things. You don't have to be an adult to do it. Yep. And my daughter teaches me, how she herself uses these techniques herself, and she's 11. So she's really healthy. So it's exciting. It's exciting, what's possible.
It is. It is. Well, do you think, the number one thing that women can change today to start to improve their health is?
The number one thing is to believe in yourself. That's the number one thing. To, without a shadow of a doubt, believe in the power of your mind and your body. Your body is working for you 24/7. And beyond our physical bodies, we have this incredible creator that created us, that designed our immune system, designed our organs and the whole earth, nature, that designed nature and is working for us, and that everything that's happening to you is an opportunity to grow and to learn and to remember that within you you have a multitude of resources, and to believe that you have those resources, just simply to accept that you're that powerful, I think that's the most beautiful thing you can do, because it took me my whole life to go inside, 42 years. This last year especially, I'm amazed at how the more I believe that I believe in our, our innate powers, it's just amazing what's possible. And that, to me, is, I think, the first step.
So for our listeners, tonight I'll be sending out a link to the free gift that Michelle is offering. She is offering a Trust Your Gut and Ignite Your Intuition guided meditation.
Say a little bit about the guided meditation, the Trust Your Gut.
Sure.
When I was talking about believing in yourself, it's easy for us to just talk about things, but when we connect to our gut, our tummy, we are connecting to the area of our body with our solar plexus, our center of power and manifestation. And a lot of times our gut feels tense, or we have pain in our gut. So this guided meditation is a first step inwards, where you lay down and you listen to it, and you start to heal your gut inside. You start to heal whatever emotions you might be holding there. And it connects you also to that higher knowing part of you. Sometimes we don't listen to that part. We listen to others. So I highly encourage people to go and click on that link and listen to it and give yourself that gift of connecting to the most powerful healer in your life, which is yourself, and the most powerful manifester in your life, which is you. So it's an awesome meditation. I listen to it a lot, and it's changed my life.
So appreciate you joining us today, Michelle. And thank you to our listeners, too, for joining us. Be well.